Mr. President, we've been spending a considerable amount of time in this body debating the so-called nuclear option. Today, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about a more significant form of threat to our republic. Throughout the last half of the 20th century, one nation, more than any other on the face of the earth, defined the shape of threats posed to the United States. This nation, of course, was the Soviet Union and its successor state, Russia. While many have turned their attention to China or other parts of the world, I believe that the most important threat to the security of the United States continues to lie within the borders of the former Soviet Union, in the form of stockpiles of nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons and materials. We are in a race against time to prevent these weapons from getting in the hands of international terrorist organizations or rogue states. And the path to this potential disaster is easier than anyone could imagine. There are a number of potential sources of fissile material in the former Soviet Union in sites that are poorly secured. The material is compact, easy to hide and hard to track, and weapons designed can be found on the internet. Today, some weapons experts believe that terrorist organizations will have enough fissile material to build a nuclear bomb in the next 10 years. That's right, 10 years. I rise today to instill a sense of urgency here in the Senate. I rise today to ask, how are we going to deal with this threat? Tomorrow, a year from now, a decade from now? The President has just completed an international trip that included a visit to Russia. And I want to commend him for taking this trip and making our relationship with Russia a priority. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union produced nearly 2,000 tons of plutonium and highly enriched uranium for use in weapons that could destroy the world several times over. To give you an idea of just how much this is, it takes only 5 to 10 kilograms of plutonium to build a nuclear weapon that could kill the entire population of St. Louis. For decades, strategic deterrence, our alliances, and the balance of power with the Soviet Union ensured the relative safety of these weapons and materials. With the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union, all this has changed. Key institutions within the Soviet national security apparatus have crumbled, exposing dangerous gaps in the security of nuclear weapons, delivery systems, and fissile material. Regional powers felt fewer constraints to develop nuclear weapons. Rogue states accelerated nuclear weapons programs. And while this was happening, international terrorist organizations who were aggressively seeking nuclear weapons gained strength and momentum.